just kind of back up a little bit. Just back
Oh,
up.
okay. Am I frightening you? Yeah.
You are. If you're frightening, it's like
I'm dressed.
It's it's like somebody's schnoz is just coming. How are you on this fine Saturday?
uh, Temperatures dropped like a rock. Went out for a
Yes.
walk yesterday. It was 16 degrees. Today, -6. But what the hey?
Yeah.
I'm doing just wonderfully fine. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I had to pull up my sock.
Okay. And you were whining about the SAQ 2 seconds ago?
Well, I wonder if you're from a different constituency. Of course, I can't think of the word now that I have to use it. I'm a Quebecer, and SAQ has been sending because I've got bonus points.
I do too.
Boy, have I got bonus points. Yeah,
I could buy a Buick with the bonus points I have.
I go into my local SAQ and the guy behind the counter salivates and says, I'm retiring after today. But they have told us they're closing their shops, their succursale, by 6 p.m. every day, regardless of where they are.
Yes.
But they also want you to start ordering online. So I went to their website to see what's available. It's pretty meager stuff. My question to you is yes. Can I, as a Quebecer, order from the LCBO?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
That's too bad, because that's one, I can't believe it. One place Quebec is behind Ontario is in the sale of beer, wine, and liquor.
Now, in the defense of the SAQ, they were, I say were, because I presume it's on hold now, they were in the midst of improving their website and adding stock to it and improving the entire online buying process because they wanted to leverage that more than they had been. But that seems to have been halted. So
yeah, because there's not much trade in what they've got up there. But I'll be watching closely.
I was going to say, keep your eye on it because they've got people in the background working on it. And I was in there this week, Tuesday or Wednesday, I think.
It's amazing in the small town where you live, because it's you, there are 17 SAQ locations.
Yep, that's right.
And all within a walking distance of your
pretty large one down the street here. And
good choice.
Pretty good. However, they're being very careful now. They would rather you not show up in person, that you order online, as you've said. But if you do show up in person, they will allow only a maximum number of people in the store. They will ask you to remove bottles from any bags you have yourself. And of course, they are not taking cash anymore. It is the best thing to do. And what I have done, and I'm trying to get my spouse to do the same thing, is you put your information on your phone and use the NFC system and simply wave the phone over the reader and it beeps and it's done. So.
Okay, is this an app you download?
Yes, I use Samsung Pay, but there are several others. And what you do is you essentially register whichever card you want to use, Interact card that you have, or credit card, or both. And then you can choose the card, enter a code, simply wave the phone over the reader, and it's done.
Well, I will have to ask my wife to borrow her phone then, because you've seen my cell phone.
Yeah, I can see you dragging the cord from the phone down the street.
And I have to keep putting wood in the fireplace to keep it going. Yeah, right. There's no battery.
That's right.
It's an old phone.
With the old mechanical dial phone trying to buy.
Yeah, it comes in black. Yeah, it does, lady.
Can I get an outside line?
Dial 9. We've been mentioning a lot of stuff to stream.
I have an idea for you, but I will let you go first. Please go ahead.
Okay, well, I've got one. It is about two charming women from Newfoundland, Labrador. Now, Tommy's going to laugh and give me a hard time for my awful Newfoundland accent, but it is called the Tailblazers.
The Tailblazers.
Yeah, Tail, T-A-L-E, and Blazers, B-L-A-Z-E-R-S. The Tailblazers. Mm-hmm. It's on the website talltrueandtangled.com. They're merrily in Marilla, and they go around Newfoundland, Labrador. It is presented by Newfoundland and Labrador, the government of Newfoundland, who I think do some of the best advertising for tourist business in the business. Anyway, this is one of their ideas. They sponsor it. I don't know if they actually are part of it. But Marley and Marilla go around Newfoundland and Labrador. I found out about them recently. I know I'm behind the times. I found out this is the fourth season, but I went to the very first season, and they go out to places like Terra Nova National Park, Gros Morne, which you are probably familiar with, which is world famous. It's what, no wonder it's gorgeous.
Drove
But
through Gros Morne many years ago. Yes.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely stunning.
It's another planet. It's amazing.
Oh, and but some of the other things that Marley and Marilla do, they've got a Volkswagen bus in mint condition, which they drive around. They went into a guy's car museum where, among other things, you're a gadget guy, if not a car guy. He showed them a 1950 Cadillac Eldorado. Only 400 of them were made. It was turquoise with a white top. And in those days, this Cadillac cost more than a Rolls Royce. It was absolutely gorgeous. So they go around to different places in Newfoundland, on the island and on the rock as well. They go around different places in Newfoundland, and they are what you love about the charm and fun of Newfoundlanders. There's no bullshit. There's no artifice. They're real people. They're Marley and Marilla. I would suggest the Tail Blazers.
Tail Blazers.
On talltrueandtangled.com. It's not on a streaming site. It's streamed on that website. So I'd recommend that.
Duly noted. And I have something for you at the other end of the spectrum.
Uh-oh.
Miles Davis, Birth of the Cruel.
Oh my goodness.
Have you seen this?
Wow. No,
Okay.
I've got some of his great albums. Well, they're all great, but I've got some of Miles Davis's albums.
On Netflix, a film by a guy by the name of Stanley Nelson. I've just started watching it. I haven't watched the entire thing yet.
I didn't know you were a big Miles Davis fan.
Huge. I am not a jazz expert. I'm no Katie Malick, but Miles Davis was one of my first influences when it came to listening to jazz. And Birth of the Cool, of course, is an album I've had since forever. It was recorded in the 50s, I think.
Yes, it is. Very late 50s. He
now,
changed the whole landscape.
It's quite impressive. They have an impressive amount of historical footage, and they're speaking to people I think it was released in 2019. Quincy Jones is in there, and a bunch of other people. Now they have a performer reading or providing some color narration, essentially in Davis's voice, as imitating Davis's raspy voice. I found that somewhat annoying for the first few minutes, but I'm getting used to it now as the film rolls
Yeah,
on.
because you'd think if it's not Miles Davis himself, it's not going to work.
Yeah, you might find that a little bit grating, but perhaps like me, you'll get used to it and then get into the narrative beyond that. But this is highly recommended. I'm only about halfway through.
I'm going to have to tell my son to let you know how eternal I think Davis is. My son, who is in his early 30s, is a huge Miles Davis fan.
It's just, again, of course, people are just overflowing with praise and analyses and everything else, but he truly was a trailblazer as opposed to a tailblazer, I suppose. So that's highly recommended.
He changed the whole landscape. It's amazing because he was a difficult man, but most great artists are difficult people. But you mentioned a very young Quincy Jones actually played in some of his ensembles. He was able to attract unbelievable artists to his ensembles over the years, which says a lot about his musicianship.
And just in the early few minutes of the film, I was surprised to learn, and I hadn't read up too much about his life, that the heroin addiction came in very early, much earlier than I thought. And that proved to be, of course, a serious problem for the rest of his life. And it
it turned him into a pimp. He was lucky he lived as long as he did. He was brought up in a middle-class St. Louis family. He wasn't
East St. Louis.
East St. Louis.
His father was a dentist, and he learned, again, essentially, quote unquote, how to interact with women by watching his father abuse his mother. So all sorts of things were happening there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got quite a story to tell. If you wanted to go along with that for something else, it's much shorter, of course. It's a very old 60 Minutes interview I saw on YouTube with Harry Reasoner. So you might want to watch that as well.
So that's my pick for entertainment
You've
and
been
like,
reading? I mean, you
hey,
must do some.
you're
You're a
going to
reader.
laugh. You're going to laugh. Um, about 3 weeks ago, I went back to Proust.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Yes,
I didn't know you were a fan or a newfound fan.
I
Marcel Proust?
call
Really?
it newfound. I think I had flirted with Proust many years ago, and for some reason I went back to Marcel Proust. And of course, I don't understand any more of it now than I did 40 years ago.
Well,
But
it's kind of like reading Ulysses, you know. What
I,
what the hell?
I'm marveling at the craftsmanship, at the thought processes that brought those phrases to the page. It's quite something.
And the output is incredible, if nothing else, because like many artists, he died very young. Proust was
Yeah,
quite young when he
I
died,
think he
right?
was in his 30s when he died of pneumonia or something like that.
Some
But
sort of consumptive thing. So does this make you sort of lie on the sofa and
just lying in bed at night, which is they say you shouldn't be doing before going to sleep. But and again, you're there as you're reading. You're not where you were 5 minutes ago. You're just there, and it's quite something. So Proust uh, is where I.
prose, poetry? Are you reading at all? What are you any
I'm
selected
reading
works?
this Swan right now, but I've got the entire collection. Of course, Amazon has these things available for the ebooks for pittance. So I'm going back to some of the
I
classic.
need the tactile connection of the book.
Yeah.
I'm big. My wife, who's a oh my God, she is such a voracious reader, has Kindle as well as the book, but she likes to go back and forth. This is an incredible uh, coincidence because for some reason, and I'm not kidding either, I picked out Crime and Punishment by
Oh no,
Dostoevsky. Yeah,
really?
Dostoevsky, and I don't know if I should be reading this right now, like
Or
not reading
shoot yourself
1984.
in the head with the book.
This guy's Russian. He's depressed. Yeah. I'm halfway through it. I thought to myself, I'm going to read a chapter at a time. And I've actually started very slowly. And then all of a sudden, it's rapidly picked up. I'm almost halfway through it. So I didn't want to convey hubris or self-aggrandizement with you because you see through it right away.
Yep.
But seriously, I'm reading this. No wonder these things, Proust, Orwell, Dostoevsky, are classics. This is unbelievable. I
I'd never
tried
read.
Goethe. He's just boring.
I see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One
I'm so
quickly.
glad I'm dead. And also on the other end, because
Yeah.
you do need light entertainment, I'm reading What the Parrot Saw by Bernays Saucy. There it is.
Oh yes. Thank
That's
you.
actually in bed as well.
One quick note about the strange times that we are experiencing these days. I've noticed now, well, of course, it's the weekend, but you're going to notice a shift in the media cycle in the coming days. Um, what came out today was leaked news of what government projections are for what things may become down the line.
This is on our side of the border or the States?
In Quebec. Now,
Yeah.
do not be overly influenced by this. Simply take things one day at a time because things are very stable in Quebec right now. And just a word on those projections that you may read about either over the weekend or in the coming week. These are all government studies that are prepared. They're in the can. We have professionals who do this day in and day out. They prepare for things that may come. And I worked for the health ministry many years ago on a simulation, strangely enough, of a pandemic. And the government has projections and studies in the box, as it were, to allow them to prepare communications programs and a number of things.
I don't want to belittle any of this, but this could be out of date this afternoon, right?
Absolutely, or it's simply a projection that provides them with a bit of framework as to how they may wish to approach things. Again, this is completely unknown territory as far as the progression of the virus is concerned, but they have to plan and I recall we were doing a simulation based on the avian flu. This goes back maybe a decade or so. And I recall the officials unveiling, because this was confidential, but they showed us the studies they had, and they were talking about all sorts of numbers and what they were projecting were going to happen in terms of deaths and people hospitalized and all of that. It can be rather unnerving. So don't allow yourself to be drawn in too much into all of the analysis and the conjecture that you may be seeing in the coming days.
Okay, so dare I ask you what one of the projections is for people who will contract COVID-19, or should we not even?
I'm not going to repeat it here. You
Okay.
may or may not see it in the coming days. If you do see it, don't flip out. Don't let that get to you, because this is simply part of uh, they're like, what do you call those folks who study the numbers for insurance companies?
Oh,
Actuaries.
actuaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
almost like actuarial numbers that people
This is
sit.
predicting when people will die.
That's right, essentially.
That's their
Okay,
job.
that's it. So as the media now begin to get into their channels of the regular reporting and the number of cases every day and all of that, you're going to start seeing that sort of boilerplate come up every single day. And then the conjecture will start to cycle even harder as the daily elements begin to wear off. I don't know if I'm making myself very clear or not. So don't fall
No,
into that
no,
whole
I can
thing.
understand. We're talking about up and peaking and then falling off and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right?
So
This is from the Ministry of Health,
yes,
Quebec. So that's
yes.
their website.
Yes. And no, there's somebody, I believe, got their hands on these
Oh,
numbers.
that's right. You said it was leaked.
Yeah. And this is not something that they want to, and they're not hiding anything. This is simply a matter of what they use to do
Who
their work.
knows,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Who knows? Do I have time for a personal note, or do you want to save that
Please,
for tomorrow?
please
Okay.
go ahead.
In this world we're living in, these strange, interesting times, you reach out online on Facebook. I'm staying away from all the politics on Facebook, but on Facebook and email, and you and I are having a lot of fun doing this. I think it's saving whatever sanity either one of us has.
Yeah.
You have old dear friends who come out of the woodwork. One guy by the name of Michael Liu. I knew him in grade school at St. Malachy's in the very late 50s and early 60s.
That
Went
was
through
the
grade
reform
one.
school, wasn't it, St.
Yeah.
Mark?
To give you an idea of how long ago it was, there were still nuns as the principals and the teachers at St. Malachy's School. Girls on one side of the chain link fence and boys on the other. I was caught looking through the chain link fence one fateful day. But this guy, Michael Liu, caught one of the grumpods. And he said, "Good God, it's been 60 bloody years. You still sound like the same charming guy you were
Right.
in
Yeah.
grade school." It was great to
Exactly.
hear from you. Mike's living up near Tremblant, but he remembered a whole bunch of names that I'd forgotten of schoolmates, and he just thought he'd drop a line and say hello, and it was a voice out of the past I really wanted to say hi to. So hi to
That's
Michael.
great. Hi to you, Michael. All right. Well, that's a good 20 minutes for today.
Go
Have
for
you
a
been,
walk.
have you been out for a walk yet?
No, going out the sap. The temperatures, as I say, dropped like a stone. Yesterday was gorgeous, but bundle up. Yeah, you can go.
We got -6 here. I think we can manage that today.
I demand.
Talk, talk to you tomorrow.